Hello everyone! Welcome to the Mania 7K World Cup 2024, and in here we're going to be on the semifinals round between two countries, namely Team Japan and Team Australia. These two countries are very interesting to me because we see Japan here, who has a long history of being really good at 7K and rhythm games in general, and Australia, albeit really good as well, have really made a name for themselves on this tournament, and I think this is their furthest performance so far. But before we go into more of the specifics, I'm Bulma Gamer Pre-H76, and joining me on the commentary booth is going to be Potassium F. Hello, how are you doing today?
I am super excited. I've been looking forward to this potential match all week. I think this is, slight bias. I do love both of these teams, but I think this is the match that I've been looking forward to the most coming into this weekend. And of course, in the losers bracket, only one of these teams can continue forward. Both of the teams have very exciting rosters this year. In particular, we see Botanic coming in for Team Japan. That's really boosted their Rice capabilities, and Australia with their basically an entire roster revamp. They've gotten pretty much their best players possible for this one, and they've been performing very, very well. I think, despite Japan having such a strong showing in the Rice picks so far this tournament, this one I think may just end up going to tiebreaker.
And man, I am so excited to see how this is going to go. You did mention how we have Rice, Ellens, and all that, but that being said, my biggest concern here is, of course, Japan's consistency when it comes to Rice. But let's not forget, players like Botanic are also capable of playing some of these long note picks. I think I'm more concerned about stuff like Ghost, because that's the thing that Japan should be theoretically able to get a point on. And honestly, Revolt also makes a lot of sense. So Australia protects LN1. I don't really think there's any other option.
That is a very good protect in particular, and kind of onto what you said as well, Japan being the higher seed, they have had the better performance all around. They can play the hybrids, absolutely, and some of these LN picks as well, but I think despite the little bit of a seed gap we're seeing, I think Australia is kind of the perfect matchup against Japan as far as their skill sets go, because Japan being an all-in Rice team, Australia is kind of the opposite. Australia, while they can play Rice decently well, it's not quite up to the same level as some of these other finals or semi-finals level teams, but their LN ability is extremely strong, and I think kind of what we're going to see in the first few picks here, I think we're going to have a fairly uneventful first few picks as far as, the score lead is concerned. I think Japan should very comfortably take their first picks. Australia should really comfortably take their first picks, but getting into those hybrids and those less comfortable Rice picks, that's going to be where this match might be decided.
I expected a Retine ban, because Retine is something that Japan, I do think, would have the best accuracy, at least among everyone that's not named Korea. Honestly, arguably even better than Korea. So I would have also expected Tinnitus, but Zik actually also works, because it's sort of like Tinnitus, but different.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way to describe it. So first pick gonna be Japan. I wouldn't be surprised if they went Rice 1. You wouldn't want to go for Rice 4 immediately? Okay, well.
No, you do. So here's the thing about the Rice picks is that Japan have the overwhelming, consistency, accuracy lead. This should be, just saying it straight up, this map should be a stomp from Japan. But what you said before, Rice 1, I actually think is the one map that Japan should be not picking until the very last, because we saw Japan play Rice 1 the other day, and they did actually mess up a fair amount. They can choke the combo a little bit, and their scores, I think Australia can beat the scores that Japan put up yesterday on Rice 1. But something like this, something like Tenatus as well, that should not be in question, I don't think. I think Japan can afford to miss as much as they want on something like this. Their sheer accuracy is just not beatable on this one.
And it's true. But okay, looking at this, so we're seeing My Angel's Law. I'll just say, look, I'm just gonna say for the simplicity of this, I'll just say Zla. So we say Zla
Like
in
Zila.
Rock 4.
Zila
Okay,
is the
wait,
pronunciation I've
wait,
been told for that name.
That's Zila.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay, Zila in Oct 4. I mean, seeing Zila here is interesting because I do think Korjak is their forte whatsoever. Oct 4 being the more well-rounded player of the bunch, but Japan having Botanic and Rain Lily. See, the thing is, if Botanic can get a really good rack on that, Rain Lily has the potential to match it or even get higher actually. We've seen some of the Rice maps, I think it was Tinnitus where Rain Lily had the better ratio than Botanic. That being said, that's a totally different map from this.
Yeah, the Cord Jack pick, usually in most scenarios, Cord Jack can be seen as kind of risky because both teams can get high accuracy. You did mention Zila can put up really high ratios themselves. Oct 4, very good with the combo. But that said, for Australia to win this, Japan's going to have to make a mistake. And I do not think we have seen in this entire tournament Japan looking uncomfortable whatsoever on these picks. They have looked too comfortable on these Cord Jacks.
I mean, Botanic is the one who has the record right now. I believe Botanic has a 999.2k, and actually right now they are underperforming in comparison to that. But here's the thing, Australia having a decent double 99.8. The mere fact that I even say decent is insane, considering how many teams struggle to be consistent on this map.
Yeah, we've seen quite a lot of chokes on this one, and we see My Angel Zila finding the first break, dropping down to 99.5%. Butanic's actually dropped the accuracy down a little bit, but still well above Team Australia right now as another miss. Oh, both players from Australia finding the misses now. This lead is going to start growing pretty large.
Well, to be fair, this is the Protect of Japan, so you ought to expect that this is something that Japan is very proficient at. Right now, the mere fact that 99.86 is the lower of the two, it goes to show how much Japan is really ahead of the curve when it comes to Cord Jacks and all that. This consistency is kind of unfathomable, really, considering how many teams in this tournament struggled on this map.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of rare to see Japan even drop a 200 on these ones, let alone a miss. They have not missed on a single Cord Jack pick so far, and they've played this one before. I think they got like a 999 and 997k, and it's looking like we're on similar kind of pace for this one as well for this Japanese team score. And I mean, against something like that, you can see why they protect it, why they feel so comfortable. I just don't understand how they're managing to put off these scores on the Cord Jack picks.
Zila gaining a few acts, same with Oct 4 actually, but it's just not gonna be enough when Japan, despite being at 99.9, is still slowly increasing that accuracy. We're watching Botanic right there gaining slowly but surely. It's just not gonna be enough to make Japan shake at all. 35,000 does not look that much on paper, but that's definitely a huge difference.
Oh, they're human. Perhaps Botanic finding a miss, but just too little too late because the accuracy is still well above both Australian players. I don't think that is going to matter whatsoever for Japan, but that is one full combo out here for Rain Lily. It looks like going to be locking away this one towards the end.
Oh my goodness, 998k for Rain Lily. I think at the previous time Japan played this, Rain Lily was the one who made the mistake, and now it is their turn to get the V1SS. Meanwhile, Australia's ratios are actually, that would be good enough to beat like literally almost all the teams that played, or not really almost all, a lot of the teams that played. But man, that consistency is just unmatched as of this moment, especially with Botanic. I would say Botanic actually underperformed compared to what they did, and if that's considered an underperformance, that's scary.
Yeah, and that's what I mean when I say like some of these Rice maps, even if Japan kind of colossally mess up, they're still comfortably in the lead. That score from Botanic was way lower than the score that they got yesterday, but it's just the the ratio, the consistency, even if there is a mess up, there's so much score lead that's built up purely from that act that it really just doesn't matter at the end. And now we're going to see Australia pulling out their Protect right away as well. This is definitely the pick that I think they have the biggest advantage on as well. We're going to see Luca, of course, coming in the LN specialist for Team Australia. And also, Australia does know what Japan gets on this. Japan did play it yesterday. I think they struggled a decent bit trying to hold on to the combo as well.
I mean, of course, I don't really think anyone expects Japan to be that proficient when it comes to slow LNs. Because think of it this way, I mean, Japan, the rhythm game that Japan is mostly known for, at least on the VSRG scene, it's definitely BMS, and BMS is a Rice-oriented game, so you kind of really have to expect that Japan on Rice is going to be far ahead of the curve, but LN is going to be a little bit of a problem here. Though that being said, I think Japan is keeping their Rice lineup on this map.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think Rain Lily played this yesterday, but looks like they're going to be staying in this time. So no switch outs for Japan here. Interestingly enough. But yeah, of course, my Angel Zila being the Rice player switched out for Luca, who is the LN player in general. So I think this one should look pretty good overall for Australia. We'll see if Japan can pull off a better team score than they did yesterday on this one.
Well, hopefully they are going to get a better score. Because I know Japan certainly being aware of what Australia could get on this. If they were paying attention to the previous matches, that is, would certainly practice this map a lot. And it's kind of showing actually, because Rain Lily's the one with the highest accuracy right now. But okay, well, what did I just say? Sure, that was the highest accuracy a while ago, but consistency favors Australia slightly actually.
But actually, you know, Rain Lily's still with that highest accuracy, despite the misses there. But I think Australia overall having the better accuracy across the team, because Botanic dropping down to 98.5 is the lowest right now. And with the extra miss on Japan's side, this is a lead that's growing in favor of Australia as the map goes on. Not a very long map. We're only already halfway through, and it's a 10,000 point lead for Australia.
Ruka gaining accuracy on this section. Like, this has a lot of short LNs with density mixed in them. What makes this really difficult is, of course, the added aspect of speed and like LN physicality to an extent here to your typical release map. So it's kind of really density section inserted into that. So not only are you getting 200 baits, but we are also seeing potential choke points here. Now at the last quarter.
Oh, and there's the last full combo gone.
That's a massive drop, but it's not gonna matter.
Yeah, right now it looks like Oct4 and Botanic both trading. Well, they have the same accuracy, same scores there, but Luca is beating out Rain Lily with that accuracy. 99.3 on Luca's, leading the charge of the entire room, but it's only 10,000 points the difference. And this ending section can be brutal. Rain Lily is the one that first finds the miss here in this last section. It's going to give Australia a much safer lead going into the last couple seconds, and it looks like Australia are going to manage to close out their own pick.
That was very scary. If I'm not mistaken, this was actually Australia's Protect as well. Yep. So answering a Protect with another Protect. Very interesting strategy, and I think it certainly worked. But what gave Australia this win was... Actually, it was definitely the miscount. Literally 3 to like... Actually 0-50s as well. That's something very big, because LN, especially in 7K, are 50 baits. Not to mention Ruka getting the highest score in the lobby by a big margin certainly helped their case on winning that.
Yeah, Luca crushing that one overall with way higher accuracy than everyone else is what solidified that lead. But now we're back to the Rice pool. Japan always going to be taking it back to here whenever it's their pick. And this mixed Rice pick, we saw Australia play it last time as well. Japan knows Australia's scores, but I don't think that matters either way. I think Japan, no matter what, are going to be favored on all of these Rice picks here.
I mean, they could really be favored, but it they still have to perform really well because I've noticed. I think this was the one map where Oct4 had a really good ending. Like we saw these players getting just much better at the second half than ever. So I am very confident in Japan's ability to close it out and have a really good start to make the difference already stated. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, early miss from MyAngelZila there, not faring the best in the intro, dropping accuracy below 99 just briefly here, but Butanic actually finds a miss on the side of Japan, traded by Oct4, and look at the difference in the accuracies, even though it's so early on in the map, 99.7 for both of the Japanese players, while Australian players are both down below 99%, 20,000 points just out of the intro for Japan.
This is really going to be an LN and first battle from what we've seen. Core Jacks, like we've already seen how Core Jacks went for Japan, and technicality just seems to be much more in Japan's favor than the Core Jacks. Because at least in Core Jacks, Australia still had a very decent set of accuracies. But right now, they're sort of struggling on that department while Japan is clearly ahead right now, and it's like there's just a clear difference. And another miss. I think that was the first miss on Zila, actually barring all of the full combos on the Australian side.
Yeah, only one full combo left in the lobby on Rain Lily, and I mean, even if they break it, just the accuracy difference is gigantic, more than 1% for each player on Japan. And it's just the level of comfort. Just being able to get accuracy on these patterns is just insane. And Australia not faring so well overall, still finding the misses, and 75,000 points, not recoverable whatsoever.
Yeah, and my goodness, this accuracy is just far ahead on Japan's side. We see another miss from Oct4, but Rain Lily finally finding a mistake on the streaming burst, but it's not gonna matter anymore. Like, these streams just benefit Japan in every single way. Mix that with Core Jacks and you get a recipe for success. 100,000 points of difference on the side of Japan, just really dominating this pick. 105,000 points. That's a massive difference. If you were to add the 300 counts of the Japanese players together, I don't even think you're gonna be matching Zila's ratio. It's still lower by a very little amount. Just goes to show, just really goes to show how scary Japan's Rise ability is.
Yeah, and they can afford to miss as much as they want though. If they can hold these kind of ratios, these kind of 200 counts, they are chilling on some of these Rise picks. And I think they still have a couple more that they can go to. I think, you know, the Tinnitus later on is probably going to be, I would imagine, the next Rise pick to come out. And then also the tech pick as well. Japan still have a couple of them left, but Australia now, it's their turn to come back. And I think there's a very clear pick here for Australia. I think LN4 is definitely going to be the next one. And it looks like they are going for it as well. I think what you said at the start of the match is absolutely correct. I wouldn't want to be facing Japan on LN3 at all. I think Japan are very comfortable on that kind of density LN. But this one, we've seen massive collapses from a lot of teams on some of these, like the tornado patterns, I think we call it.
Well, it could definitely happen. But something tells me Japan actually, like, there's something different about Japan's playstyle right now. Something tells me they're slightly more consistent. And wait, are we seeing Oct4 here? Or wait?
No, yeah, we're seeing Oct4. 100% Oct4. No chance that MyAngelZila is playing this one. And I think we are going to be seeing Oct4 in for every map. I think that's going to be the pattern here for Australia.
Look, I'm just really concerned about something. Like, I have a feeling, I really do have a feeling that there might be a chance that Japan might actually take a breakpoint off of this, because there are a lot of technical patterns. Though it's really going to be up to Australia to stamp their chances on getting the next point with these technical patterns just showing up here and there.
Yeah, there's a lot of shields in this one, a lot of like mini jack kind of patterns that are involved within the LNs. So we've seen a lot of mistakes there, but at the same time, Japan did show their scores on this yesterday, and I think Australia should be very comfortable trying to beat those ones. That said, I do think the LN score from Japan was better than what they showed yesterday. So if Japan are feeling a little bit better with the LNs here, maybe they could put up more of a close fight on this one, but we'll have to see. Butanic with an early miss there on the intro, not faring so well on these one-handed patterns, and all dropping all the way down to 97%.
Yeah, that's already a scary start for Japan. If you're already down 10,000 points at the very start, then it's just gonna keep on growing if you're not careful, because the start usually one of the easier parts, and Sana finding a drop, fatigue already probably kicking in, but Oct4 finding a miss back. So here's the thing though, Oct4's miss was much cleaner than any of the Japanese players, so that just benefits Australia by a lot.
We're seeing, remember the accuracies from Rise 6, we're seeing this completely mirrored now. Both Australian players are an entire percent above the Japanese players in terms of the LN accuracy. So Australia looking way more comfortable on a pick like this. And they're bringing this lead up to 25,000 points already. Butanic finding another miss there, still the full combo on Luca.
The mere fact that we're seeing a full combo at this far on the map, it's very impressive. However, man, Botanic and Ensana have some work to do. And now we're approaching a break. This honestly doesn't feel like that much of a break section, because there's a lot of potential misses here, especially if your hand just starts to destabilize there. But right now, still
one hand patterns. Oh, there's the miss from Luca. Last full combo gone. Oct also breaking.
That's what I was talking about. And right now, Botanic, the only one who actually held there, surprisingly. It's these patterns that I'm very concerned about. Oh, but never mind. It's gone. What a massive drop from the Japanese side.
Big accuracy tanks as well. Multiple misses. Ensana still finding misses there. Maybe running out of steam towards the second half of the map now and dropping below 98%. While we still have two players on Australia, even with that miss from Oct4, they're still above 99%. Butanic finding another miss, trading with Oct4, and Oct4 now dropping in a little bit of an accuracy, but 50,000 points, this is more than comfortable.
That was a lot of misses from Oct4 actually, and honestly it's the only reason why this lead hasn't really ballooned to what it could have been. But if you were to look at side to side, like what you mentioned, this is the exact same story of what we saw in the Rise pick so far. I just forgot to mention, but Luca performing, doing a really good job holding that combo on those patterns. Like you saw those sort of Dorito patterns like what you mentioned. Australia's clearly benefiting from that. And once again, now we're at the final part. Can Australia hold on? I think they will. 60,000 points, a little bit too much for this sort of a time period, and there we go. 62,000, Australia taking it. Despite Oct4 getting the lowest run count, those misses really hurt. One miss on a map like this though, what can you even do about that?
Yeah, Luca is really feeling himself today. I think he's performing very well. Oct4 as well, both with 99%. And we can very clearly see the dichotomy already. Japan dominating some of these Rise picks and Australia winning out the LNs at the same time. But now I think we're getting into the point in the match where the easiest picks have been pushed aside. We've already gotten Japan's best picks out of the way. They still have, I think, one or two more that they can go for. And they're actually going for the tech pick before Tinnitus, so they're leaving Tinnitus as their fourth. But I think after this is where we're going to get into the real interesting part of the match. Because I think Australia, despite looking really good on the first two LN maps, I think they're starting to already run out of room. There are less LN maps in the pool than there are Rise maps.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go for a technical pick this early on, because if you do it later in the match, fatigue is gonna start to kick in. And I think Japan just wants to be more comfortable while their stamina isn't really running out yet.
And it looks like we have Luca staying in for this one. Luca also being able to play some of these rice maps as well. But question is he able to keep up with the likes of Botanic and Rainlater? I do think that misses are almost expected from all players on this one. I don't think we're seeing FCs or very insanely high accuracies coming out here, but I think that suits Japan just fine, because I think Australia is going to be the team to struggle a little bit more than Japan when it comes to these technical or weirder snapping in these patterns.
And I can definitely see where you're coming from there. These patterns are brutal. Having Ruka and Knock 4 on this map is super interesting though. I would have thought my Angel Zila would have come in. Given the nature of this map, this is something that I thought, Zila would have come in for, but maybe Australia is going for the accuracy consistency gamble here. It could be a high risk, high reward, because you did mention Ruka's been performing really well right now. However, if Ruka plays some of these Rice maps, I would be afraid of one thing, and that's their fatigue really kicking out. And if that happens, their LN picks are going to be much more risky than ever.
Yeah, that is definitely a big factor of the match, especially when we're getting into very close matches like this. It looks like it's going to go on for a long time. Oct4 finding the first miss of the lobby, dropping down below 99% as well, while both Japanese players around 99.6, holding that AC lead as well as the combo lead now. Oh, and there goes Lucas as well. Both full combos on the side of Australia gone. Both Japanese players holding on to the full combo themselves as we're getting into the second half.
Something tells me though, there is a hole right now. Sure, it is 99.6 and 99.5, but Australia's accuracies aren't too far behind. There is a clear difference, but it's really that consistency. That's the reason why the lead is just ballooned together. But man, I forgot to mention how consistent Japan is right now. Literally 49,000 point of difference, and they're at 99.57. Both players are at 99.57 right now, by the way. On a technical map, that is.
And, I was just going to say, okay, I didn't say it in time, so no curse there, but Rain Lily does find the break. Full combo's gone for Japan, but it's not going to matter. It's just too late into the map. Despite that late miss, we still have Botanic on the full combo. 987k that was, I think. Clean full combo with only 8 200s. And not much can be done if you are Team Australia there.
Everyone in the lobby actually got a 99, which is already very impressive on its own. I think... Wait a second.
What do
What's
you
going
think?
on?
Oh, wait, well, I think we had just some players leaving the lobby, some weird stuff going on in client. But Australia's pick now. What do you think Australia will pick? Because I already know what they're going to pick.
Honestly, 24 Evo S is a good pick as well. Ghost is way too risky right now.
I agree. I completely agree there.
I would go with either Synthesis or 24 Evo S. I would say go for the From's pick actually. That's the most logical one because of how many technical patterns there are, especially on the long note side. I get that there's rice parts there, but if you're going to go for an Ellen pick, I think you might as well do it later in the match. Because that's when players really start to get tired. And, okay, hybrid is gonna be the way to go, and I agree. I agree with the hybrid pick right now. It's just, I don't think this is the pick to make.
I think Ghost is very... I did actually expect Hybrid 2 to be coming out. I think that one does have some fairly tricky LN coordination kind of patterns involved as well with the Rice at the same time, but this one, more of a tiebreaker style kind of mixed pick. It's very long as well. So this is where Australia is going to start kind of gambling in a way, because this is within the realms of breakpoint potential, I think. Japan are very strong at hybrids, even though they're not quite as good on the LNs. This is not a full-on LN map. These Rice sections in this map, Japan can absolutely make up the difference and try to come back.
They definitely could. Although, I am really concerned right now about the status of the Australian team. Where are the other two players? Like, we're normally gonna be seeing Oct4 and Ruka in this kind of pick.
Other players just kind of in the background meditating, making sure that they're in the right mind state. But of course, we are going to get Luca and Oct4. There should not be any other potential lineup here.
All right, there we go.
Here
I was getting nervous. I was getting really nervous. As for Japan, okay, putting in Rain Lily, honestly, and Sana makes a lot of sense as well. But given that they had a 97.8 effort on one of the maps, I think it makes sense to put Rain Lily in. But at some point, you gotta be a little bit concerned, because I get that these maps are probably within the realms of their physicality, even if they're tired or not. But player fatigue means so much more than what it seems like. Like, at first, it looks like you're able to hit them, but as time passes by, you don't know already how tired you've gotten from playing all of these heavy maps.
I think the problem for both teams as well is that now that we're so late into the tournament, and neither team can really afford to underestimate each other, these maps are getting hard. This map in particular, this is one of the hardest maps in the entire pool, so I don't think you can afford to put in any player that's not as comfortable on it. So neither of these teams, I don't think they can make any substitutions, even if they wanted to. And we can see, oh, that's big drops at the very start from Rain Lily there on some of these LN patterns.
98.2 already at the start. Wow, this is actually an amazing pick from Australia. Attacking Rain Lily's weaknesses early on. They clearly studied their opponents right now. Very good sign of things to come. But here's the problem, Botanic is still matching them. And that's gonna be good news for Japan if they can keep this up, because there's a lot of difficult patterns here, and like that, Oct4 already finding mistakes, but Rain Lily trades one back.
Yeah, a little bit in favor of Australia for now. We still have one FC on either team, but it's Oct4 beating out Rain Lily. That is the main difference maker. Rain Lily finds another break. These LNs are just so uncomfortable. And Luca, the FC for Australia, is gone. Very, very clean miss though. And it's still actually Luca in the lead as far as accuracy is concerned, but another one coming through. And this score lead might start shrinking a little bit.
It's 11,000 though, so it's not gonna immediately shift. Not to mention, this is almost 4 minutes. Botanic finally makes a mistake. That's a double consecutive miss on Japan. But Oct4 trades one back. It's only Ruka who holds on. Wait, that was a massive drop from Rain Lily on that pattern.
And look at that, Oct4 with a bit of a slip up during the break there, but shouldn't matter too much. Still hold. Okay, that one might matter a little bit more, but Oct4 still holding well above Rain Lily's accuracy. That's the main difference maker here. Luca and Botanic both kind of matching each other's scores, both on the 99.4. But now we're getting into more Rise-focused patterns are going to come into here, and it's whether or not Australia can hold on to their combos and their accuracy through these. Another miss from Rain Lily.
Yeah, it's these kind of misses. These misses mean so much. Another one. I think they're either releasing too early or too late. But I can't really tell, because right now, the consistency from Botanic and Oct4 and Ruka, everyone else is able to hold on. And that minimal difference from Japan is going to mean so much to Australia right now.
Okay. 18,000 points. Lead is looking good for Australia. Oct4 finds a clean miss there. Not going to affect the score lead too much.
Oh my goodness. This is too close for comfort. That Rice pattern certainly benefits Japan. Another miss from Ruka. And another miss from Australia in general, I meant. But I don't think it's gonna be, I think it's still comfortable for Australia to hit. Now we're seeing some inverse patterns and tactical long notes. Ideally, Australia is able to keep this advantage. But Botanic, that consistency. Rain Lily has stabilized as well. Never mind. Oct4 trades one though.
Yeah,
another one.
Look at this act though from Rain Lily. It's growing really fast, up to 98.76 through that Rise section. But here's the LNs again. Rain Lily finding another break, might drop a little bit further down. And Australia, they're just crushing these LNs throughout this entire map. Rise sections don't matter. Botanic finding the miss as well after that big combo. Oct4 trades it, but trades are just fine. It's still 17,000 points and we're at the end of the map. Luca finds a couple, but it's not going to matter, I don't think. It's just too late.
What a massive clutch performance from Ruka. Like, I saw that combo. Botanic, when Botanic finally dropped, Ruka took the charge even though Botanic is the highest score. All four did their job, beating out Rain Lily. It's those 50s once again. Japan's inability to reduce the 50 count is hurting them a lot right now. But Australia's physicality, that's been their issue. So it's a matter of control versus the ability to play the difficult parts. That's really what's going on right now. And now we're seeing Tinnitus, which, ooh, this map, very straightforward. Chord stream pick. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised Japan goes for this.
Yeah, we saw Japan play this yesterday, and their ratios were inhuman. This is a map that Japan just eats for breakfast. I think by far their best pick out of the two remaining here. And this should be Japan's probably their last really comfortable pick that they'll be able to get. I think they have a clear advantage on this one yet again. And I'm just trying to think about it. We saw both these teams play it yesterday. I don't think the team scores were particularly close if they performed the same as they did before. I do think Australia has been playing fairly well today, though, compared to yesterday, so maybe they can put up a little bit of a fight, but even with misses, we're still looking at Japan potentially getting, higher than 980k scores, and that might just be a bit too high of a mountain for Australia to climb.
Yeah,
We'll see, though.
I mean, regardless, I'm honestly still really nervous because, see, the thing about Japan is they've been playing slightly better when it comes to long notes right now, and that's a good sign for them. Meanwhile, Australia has kind of really played the same on LNs, but Rice seems to be something that they're falling off a little bit on. So Japan right now has the advantage overall. But if Australia can keep that LN performance, it's certainly going to be a chance for them to take this. Zila finding a drop in this early section is not going to help their cause though.
Yeah, it's not a good sign missing early on in Tinnitus, especially because we know this is a very stamina draining map, especially as it gets into the second half, where the patterns get even denser. We've seen players collapse at the end, but if you're collapsing at the start already, not a good sign, especially, looking over the other side of the screen, 99.91 for Rain Lily, 99.84 for Botanic. They are finding this so comfortable, and now Oct4 dropping the combo as well. This lead is going to start growing massively in favor of Japan.
Yeah, I mean, Japan, they're very much known for their Rice proficiency, and it's showing how much they're really able to capitalize on these kinds of picks. Australia, on the other hand, while physically they're certainly able to keep up, it's that consistency and accuracy that they're really lacking. 98-99 is not bad at all, but it's certainly a sign of physicality drop.
Yeah, 62,000 points. We're in a little bit of a break section, so get to recover the stamina just a little bit. Not too much, though, because this second half is going to be fairly brutal for any players that were feeling uncomfortable earlier. But that does not seem to be Japan whatsoever. This is, oh my god, these accuracies are insane. Rain Lily does find a miss, unfortunately. Cleanest miss I've ever seen, though. Still at 99.83 after those two. And it is not going to make even the slightest dent in this score lead. It is actually increasing still. 70,000 points now in favor of Japan as Zila gets another miss there. Oct4 as well. This map is done.
Yeah, that's about it. Rain Lily fighting another drop. Two of them, but it's not gonna matter. Japan is going to be taking this another comfortable point as Botanic getting a 99.85. Very consistent. I'm not even surprised anymore at this point.
That's going to be a 995k, I think, from Botanic with that accuracy. Rain Lily was holding even stronger ratio, I think, as well. There's, when there's so little, mistakes coming out from Japan, such tiny amounts of drops, you can see, 209 300s from Rain Lily, 321 with the almost SS from Botanic. such small mistakes that Japan makes, and I don't think there's barely any team in the world that can really capitalize on anything here with this level of accuracy from Japan. And they managed to take their 4th point. No break points have been seen after 7 maps in this one, and I think this is going to be a big map next for Australia. They've been winning their own maps, but I feel like as the match has gone on, it's becoming slightly closer, especially now that we're into some of the hybrid picks potentially. I think Hybrid 2 is decently likely to come out. I do think Australia is probably going to be wanting to avoid Hybrid 1. I think that is a map in particular that Japan might be doing really well on.
And yeah, Hybrid 2, yeah, this is the pick I was saying before. This is something I really think Australia can get.
Yeah, this one as well, speeding up as the map goes on as well. So by the end, we could see some chaos when it comes to combo breaks, act drops, everything like that could come out. So any lead is not quite safe until the very end.
Yeah, this is sort of like a map that just goes faster and faster and faster. Don't let that 400 BPM deceive you. It's only like I believe it's actually slightly slower, and then it just starts to get faster and faster and faster as the time passes on.
And of course we will see Australia. I don't know what they've been doing this every single like LN hybrid pick, right? My Angel Zila's just chilling in the lobby by himself, and then ends up leaving, and then Oct4 and Luca come in. I wonder that they're having like a team meeting or something like that between the picks.
Yeah, it always feels like some disconnect happened and it just gets scary. But I guess that's the case, indeed.
And one of the points that you mentioned earlier is about the stamina of the players. You know, after you kind of go through so many of these maps, it does wear down on you a lot. But I actually think that maybe Japan might be the team that might end up, you know, feeling the stamina a bit more, because we've seen Butanic Rain Lily have been playing pretty much every map, almost every map so far in this match. Whereas Oct4 has been playing everything, so maybe we'll see some stamina issues from Oct4, but Luca and My Angel Zila interchanging in and out. I think they're managing to conserve their stamina a little bit as this match goes on.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. They're really pushing for it. I think Japan's mindset is just trying to have the best chance of taking points off of Australia. And while I do like that, it's a very risky move. Man, League has gotta be thinking already. Though to be fair, the same can be said to Oct4. Luca's the only one who's really subbed out for My Angel Zila, and Oct4, on the other hand, is one who usually is the other player in the right.
And we can see the speed ups happening already. All 4 FCs on the table as we're seeing these short LNs starting to mount up. No one finding any breaks yet, but this score lead is very, very close.
I think it slightly favors... I don't know who it favors. Okay, wait. If we were to look at the average, it does favor Japan very slightly. But we saw the same story on Japan versus Philippines a week ago, where we saw Japan taking a small lead, but once the second half hits, Philippines took it. And now, knowing how Australia did in the second half of the maps, we can hope to see the consistency from both teams, because man, it's scary. Oh, that's a bigger drop on Rain Lily actually. These LNs benefit Australia. I retcon? Oh, yeah, there we go, see?
There's another miss from Rain Lily, dropping an accuracy down to 99.0. Now the ACK lead in favor of Australia, and these misses are still coming through from Rain Lily, finding less comfort as this BPM is increasing. These LN patterns start ramping up, and 11,000 points still not that comfortable. Could go either way. We're still seeing one, well, actually the only FC is actually from Butanic right now. Luca finds another miss. That might make things pretty close as we're getting to the ending. Hang on a second, Oct4
finding a drop. This could change. The LN density starts to get crazy. This is when things could really change. Can Japan secure a break point? The right section.
1,000 points, but Rain Lily finds a miss at the very end. I think that might decide it. Don't forget about the last notes.
Wait a second. These last notes could change it. Can Botanic secure the full combo? Yes! Oh my goodness! What looked to be peril for Australia! Rain Lily at the very end, fighting a few misses, that gave Australia the point.
Man, Botanic is so scary. When we get to these hybrids, you cannot count Japan out whatsoever. But both of the Australian players, wait, they're within 41 points apart from each other. What, the exact same accuracies, same miscount, same 50s. What is going on that team? They are exactly the same player. They've just cloned themselves.
Oh my goodness. Oh, they're going for Rice One. I'm not surprised with this pick as well.
Oh, this is their only pick. There's no other Rice map, and there's no way Japan picks a hybrid or an LN pick, right? This is Japan's last pick. Both teams are going to get one pick left. But that said, I think this is the best opportunity that Australia, or probably the only opportunity that Australia will ever get for a breakpoint against Japan. So if Australia don't want to go to the tiebreaker, they're going to have to win this one right here. And it's possible. Japan looked a little bit shaky on this one yesterday, finding a few misses in the second half.
That being said though, Australia has also been shaky on technical picks. You saw Rice 5, I believe that was the technical Rice. And the Rice 1 is just sort of that, but that isn't really the main focus of that pick. So, in reality, this looks to be something that really favors Japan, even if it's something that they're quote-unquote weaker at compared to the rest of the Rices.
But yeah, here's the thing though. I do know Australia's scores on this one, so I do think they can absolutely beat at least Japan's scores yesterday if they perform exceptionally well right here. They're going to have to get a double full combo though. I think that much is guaranteed if they want to try and win a break point. If Australia break combo, Japan might just end up winning just through their sheer accuracy alone.
That's definitely true. But yeah, accuracy accuracy would really favor Japan, but consistency is what can really change this.
Oh, that's not the best of starts for Rain Lily, but it's very early on. Within the first 200 points, it's not going to matter too much. I think they can still regain the lead pretty shortly just through accuracy. As we can see, Botanic off to a very good start. Rain Lily increasing the AC once again. Both Australian players off to a good start as well.
Yeah, and right now, wait a second. Australia having the lead, but Ock4 finding a drop. Okay, this could actually be really close. Oh, wow, both teams have been trading punches to each other, but Botanic's advantage from everyone. That's what's giving them the lead right now. It's really just Botanic.
Yeah, we have 99.4% accuracies on Rain Lily, Ruka, and Oct4. Botanic is the only one above, and I think all four players have missed exactly once. So in terms of combo, it's pretty much tied. The accuracy is just Botanic though. That is all of this lead. 5,000 points only. One miss is more than enough to switch this one in favor of Australia, but this second half is going to be pretty brutal.
Oh, here we go. Speed really starts to pick up. Rain Lily finding a drop! Ock4 and Ruka trying their best, but that accuracy advantage from Japan is really showing. Although it's starting to get smaller. If we're seeing any more mistakes on Japan's side, this can go to Australia, but the accuracy lead I think is too strong for Japan. Like, they're just killing it, and Ock4 finding a miss is not helping their cause again.
Actually dropping from Luca as well, down to 99.1. Botanic is still well above the rest of the lobby, 99.62. And the misses have stopped. Japan are not giving anything over anymore. They're looking to run away with their last pick here. 100 at the end for Botanic, not the miss that Australia was looking for though. 15,000 points. Close towards the end, but Japan managing to get away with their own pick once again. 5-4 now. Australia get the last pick. They want to force this tiebreaker.
Is it weird to me that we actually saw a very close rice map? Like, the mere fact that these players are capable of almost, I don't know, like most of the rice maps have been so big in difference. And right now, Japan really almost lost this pick.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Japan not looking the most comfortable being able to FC the speed pick, but whereas Australia can hang with those kind of speed scores. I think that is one of their best rice skill sets. But in the end, goes Japan's way either way. And now Australia get a bit of a choice here. This one's a rough one. I think both options are not maps that Australia particularly wants to pick against Japan, but I think they might end up defaulting with LN3.
I don't think hybrid one is safe. I think I gotta go LN3, yeah.
But that said, both teams did play LN3 yesterday, and Japan actually, I think, got a little bit higher of a team score. But maybe Australia, thinking that they're playing better today, I do think they are overall playing better today than they did yesterday. So maybe they feel confident enough to go with that one. I don't think Australia's comfortable on hybrid one, though.
Yeah, they're getting for the timeout. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Gotta take the timeout, take a deep breath. I have a feeling Australia was probably not expecting this to happen.
No, I think Australia did, kind of speaking to some of the, I know it's a bit of insider information in a way, but speaking to a lot of them throughout the week, they did think that the only way that they are likely to beat Japan is through the tiebreaker. I know they have been putting in the work, practicing the tiebreaker in particular. So this has been the plan, and it's worked out for them so far. They just need to get one more map on the board to be able to reach that last stage. But this is definitely going to be the hardest one. I think Japan are looking so comfortable on Ghost.
I think Ghost is like the best option here. Really, I just really think it's Ghost. That's the only option. That's the only sensible option.
Oh, but it is going to be so tight. I think Butanic got an extremely, what did Butanic get last time? Like 971k or something like that on Ghost. Maybe I'm making that number up, but I remember very high scores coming out from the Japanese side. They don't feel as uncomfortable with the LN density compared to some of the more technical LN picks that we've already seen.
Okay, I'm gonna take a sneak peek at their scores. Alright. So, Australia played against the United States around the same time here, but Japan played their match an hour later or so. So, that kind of gives context because playing at different times could be different. So, let's see. Okay. Ghost was indeed selected. And who has the higher team score? It's actually Japan.
It is Japan, I think. Yeah.
Japan that has the higher team score. Okay. That is going to be terrifying.
I think Australia have to, I think they're kind of backed into a corner here. I think they have to pick LN3 and they're going to have to rely on themselves performing better than they did yesterday. I don't think they can afford to perform the same as they did, even though they had really good scores yesterday. They're going to have to really lock in for this one.
And here's the problem. I apologize for interrupting you.
No, it's okay.
Because I just noticed something big. I don't know how to pronounce this, but Hybrid 1 has never been selected. So they don't have information in that either. So this corner is huge right now.
And it is going to be the last LN pick being picked up. Australia saved this one for last because they are not quite comfortable in beating Japan on it, quite frankly. Ensana going to be switched in. I do believe Ensana played it yesterday as well. So we are, of course, going to get Luca and Okfor for Team Australia, Butanic and Ensana. And this is going to come down to the wire, I think. A lot of these patterns, especially during like the guitar solo section of this one, has massive potential for huge breaks, huge accuracy drops. And if any player, any of the 4 players, ends up struggling on one of those sections, I think that could absolutely decide the match right here.
Well, let's see how this one goes, because yeah, they really have to pop off on this one. And I mean, 15,000 is not that big of a difference. That's just like 8,000, roughly 8,000 of a better performance from the Australian side for each player.
And I know throughout this match, we have seen Luca has been performing above what we would expect from him as well. So I think Australia is looking quite good, but the problem is so is vv2059. I think vv2059, especially on some of these LN picks, have put up some scary MVP performances.
Man.
I think we're just waiting for the last players here to be switched in for Australia. My Angel Zila should it be moving out in favor of Oct4.
There we go. This is the last pick. The last normal pick. Is that even how you say it? The last normal pick? Because the tiebreaker is technically still counted as a pick, right? The last normal pick is here, which is gonna be Ghost. And what a pick it is to end the normal picks. Man, do I hate terminology sometimes.
Yeah. Regular pick, normal pick, yeah, I don't know what else would you call non-tiebreaker pick. I guess you could just say pick. No one picks the tiebreaker. That's forced upon the players.
Okay, that's fair. Fine. This is the last pick of the match. And again, we have to see the best in everyone right now, completely fatigued, tired, and everything is on the line right now.
And I think this is also Japan's best chance at being able to take down Australia as well. This is probably the map that I think they might be more comfortable on, but vv2059, not a good start there, finding an early miss. Still above 99% though. But look at Australia's accuracy, 99.7 for both of them.
Oh my god. See, the thing about this match is, why do I just really feel like this has gone back and forth in so many ways, which if this were played on a different setting, like let's say yesterday, this could have swung even further on one side. It's just really dependent on the performance of everyone right now. And I feel like, man, everyone's performing at their best. But Oct4 finding a drop, matching Ensana's accuracy still. But oh, that's a trade, and I think that actually benefits Japan more
look
than
at Oct4's accuracy right now, 98.5, dropping a whole % of accuracy in that one section, finding a little bit of almost a column lock it looked like there, and finding repeated misses as well. Oct4 misses again, 6,000 points in the lead for Team Japan, but it's still not a massive lead.
I mean, Oct4 finding more misses. See, look at this. Ruka has the advantage over vv2059, but oh, never mind! That's gonna be massive for Japan. Unfortunate. But wait a second, vv2059 trades one back. We have to see more on the Japanese side though, because we're gonna be seeing more of these stream picks, and I think this benefits Japan because of the physicality aspect.
Yeah, another miss here from Oct4. This lead is almost 20,000, but there goes Japan. Multiple misses from both of their players. That lead has shrunk really quickly down to just 10,000 points within striking distance. Now Luca beating out vv2059 in terms of score. It's all between Ensana and Oct4, and Oct4 has been the one to miss a little bit more.
It's not over yet, but Oct4 finding a drop, not gonna help. Like, if we see more of those streamy LNs on the side of Japan, it could really be painful. Australia doing everything they can, but more misses from Oct4. It's just not helping. Here we go, final stretch of the map. Are we gonna be seeing a tiebreaker, or will Japan secure the only break point? Oct4 finding another miss. I think, unless some massive drop happens, that might have done it.
Oh, multiple misses from Australia. That might be it. 20,000 points. Japan are just looking so solid on this one. Not missing enough for Australia to be able to take back the lead. It stayed the same the entire map, it feels like. All the hard parts gone. I don't think there's any opportunity left.
Unless we see some misses on this release or sort of section. But the lead's sort of shrinking actually. But that's it! The winner is going to be Japan! Oh man, that's very unfortunate.
We were so close to seeing a tiebreaker.
Even if Australia got their score yesterday, this would have still been Japan's point. But Ruka outperformed their performance, and man, Australia was so close from sending to Japan to tiebreaker, but it is what it is. And they've done a really good job taking the most important points and really almost closing it out. If we were to look at solely the 200 points, Australia actually wins that. It was those misses that really killed the momentum.
Yeah, I think the nerves at the very end, this being the last pick, I think really ended up shaking up Oct4 just a little bit too much there. But a fantastic performance from Australia, fantastic performance as well from Japan, managing to win it in the end. And we are going to see Japan moving forward to be in the top 6 next week in the final stage.
Oh man. Congratulations to Japan for being one of the finalists of this tournament, and for Australia, very close to that run, but unfortunately fell a little bit short on the last pick. Fatigue kind of really kicked in, and regardless, I think they have to be proud of themselves for how they performed.
Yeah, I think this is by far Australia's best performance they've ever showed in 7K MWC. And I think, you know, if we get these players next year showing up, they could definitely make a really deep run. But for now, it is Japan's time, and they're going to continue. I think this Japanese team is looking stronger and stronger by the week as we're getting into harder and harder maps. I think, in particular, Botanic is really starting to warm up to these LN and hybrid picks in the late stage. So I'm looking forward to seeing how far they can go throughout that losers bracket. But don't go anywhere, because you can see what's coming up very soon. In about half an hour, we are going to be seeing the other winners bracket match being played, South Korea versus the Philippines, and that is going to be a rematch of grand finals last year. So make sure you stick around for that one. I am very excited to see that.
Oh, I'm very excited to see this as well. I do think it's gonna be a very interesting match. This is the other winners bracket match, I believe, in this tournament, other than China and Malaysia. We've seen a couple of 6-4s already. Sadly, not a single tiebreaker yet. Maybe this one is the one that we're finally gonna be seeing a tiebreaker on.
Perhaps. We can only hope to pray for a tiebreaker at some point. Of course, the Osu original is such a great song as well, so I want to see it being played at some point. But for now, I think we're going to be signing off for a little bit, and we'll be back in 27 minutes, so make sure you stick around for this next match.